Well, Shihab, I am based at here at the Disaster Management Center, and relief efforts is at the moment underway. But the tsunami on last Sunday did hit us very severely, and severe damage has been caused to people, property, and infrastructure. And as you know, we are a very low-lying state, and the islands are just centimeters above sea level, and the whole country has been affected very badly.
My name is Mariyam Waheeda. People call me Mari. I come from a very normal family, a middle-class family. I have six sisters, 5 brothers. I went to school in Male to EPS and then went to Amina school. Well, in the late 70s, I was supposed to go to Montessori school. But then, my father was a political prisoner, so we couldn't get entry to the Montessori school, which is the government school. My mother had a dream for me. Always, every day she will tell me, would you like to go to Armenia school? Because during those days, the school matters a lot and everybody talks about Armenia school. And then I said, actually, I don't mind being in EPS. There are boys also there. It's fun. And then she says, but the education system in the government schools are much better. So during those days, we have to do a test to go to Armenia school. And then every year I will sit for the exam. 2 years I failed. The 3rd year, I managed to go to Armenia school. Then my dad said he can afford to send me to Bangalore. So I said, okay, I have never been to India, but I will try this. But then when I told my friends, they said, India is not good. Because in our language, they say, Varak katutane. So it's a little bit difficult. Then I thought about it because they're all waiting to go to UK, Australian universities. I also had a dream of going to UK and Australian universities, but I can't afford to go. So I went as a boarder. I was only 17 years old. And then I managed to do 2 years there. That's called pre-university. I went to a girls' college and I was a boarder there. But to tell you the truth, that is where my knowledge began. Because India is a field of knowledge where you meet intellectual people, intellectual students, and it's more competitive than in my own country. Because a class will have around 70 to 80 students, and they come from different cities of India. So you gain a lot of knowledge. And as a boarder, I learned a lot of discipline. After finishing my pre-university, I thought I will come home because I was missing home. But then I thought, okay, let me do a degree also here, because if I go back home, I will not be getting an opportunity to again go abroad and study. So I went to St. Joseph's College of Arts and Sciences in Bangalore, and I took all social sciences because I thought maybe that time I didn't know, to be frank, what subjects to take. My parents were telling me to take all science subjects and stuff, but then I thought, I don't think I have an interest there. I have an interest here in the social sciences. So I did a major in economics, political science, and sociology. Then I did an honors degree in English and French. After that, I came to Male and I started work. And I worked in Attorney General's office for a few months. Then I was shifted to Ministry of Finance and Treasury. There I worked a little while. And then I got a scholarship to go and do my master's in development economics in UK, Norwich. While I completed my master's there, the biggest story I should tell you there is, coming from a small state island, the development school, it had number of countries, number of students participating there. Very few, to be frank, it's quite strange, but very few knows about Maldives very deeply. So I was the only student there, and most of the students from there are from very poor countries because it's a development school. They come from Africa, they come from Asian countries, and very few Europeans do take these subjects. So we had a lot of people who come from different backgrounds, but mostly very poor countries in Africa. So we shared a lot of knowledge on the development agendas of these countries. I was a director at Ministry of Planning and National Development for a few years, but I was heading the public sector investment program, and it's a very monotonous job. So I thought, one fine day I thought I should quit this job and I should do something I really want to do. I always like to work with the people. During my term in planning ministry, I used to travel to the islands and I used to be there. But then we never get an opportunity to really do field work or anything. Because of the administrative work, we get stuck on that and it becomes quite boring. So I thought, this is not the thing for me. Every day when I go home, I'm not very happy about what I'm doing. It's good going into meetings and coming out of meetings and stuff. But then it was not the thing for me. So one fine day I met a friend and he said, why don't you try reading news? I said, reading news? This is so funny. This is a small country. If you go onto TV, when I walk, they will say, this girl was on TV. So I don't think this is for me. But then she said, just come and do it one day, one fine day, and try it. It will be very funny. So I went in. 2-3 days I went to TVM. Then they said, you have to be on television tomorrow night. And it's going to be English news. So sharp 8:30. I was there, to be frank, no makeup like this, just my digohedung and with my bolfatikor. I was very, very nervous. I went in and they said, it's a live and 9 o'clock news, so you are going in. I just started reading from the paper. I was gasping and a little bit of sweat was there because public speaking is no joke, you know. You need some guts for it. So I went in there and the first night I read all the names, to be frank, upside down. Jiang, Zeming, every time I said Zeming, Jiang. And I made lots of blunders. So I believe a call came from the president's office saying that this girl should not go on air. Because this is a live news and this is not a joke. So my boss during that time, newsroom boss, said, very sorry, Mariyam, you have to stay home for a few days. If everything goes well, we'll call you. So after a few months, 3 months, they called me and they said, now you must come and do a little bit of practice and get on to TV. Then from there, I took it on. Every day was a learning experience. As you all know, there's no journalism school here. So we just read from the papers they give and we don't have any verification on those facts. We just keep reading. I read for a few years and then in 2001 and 2, due to some incidents, I realized the depth of reading news, the depth of media, how important this is, how important a media personnel can be to bring out that message to the people. So you have to be a responsible person, you know. So I thought, okay, in this country right now, I don't have the opportunity to verify these facts. What they give, we read. So, okay, let me just go aside from news and let me do maybe some programs may be good for me. So I shifted to the program section and then I did a lot of programs. Actually, one of the highlight I would like to highlight is the Majlis Miyat, the political program we used to bring. That was first brought out by me. And then that was a very happening program during that time. It was very interesting. And after that, I did a lot of social programs and entertainment programs, and right now at present, as you all know, I do Hey Ambo, and that is one of the most entertaining programs here. But more than any entertaining programs, I take a lot of inspiration from it. In that chair, I have met wonderful personalities from different parts of this country, from the atolls, from the islands, from Malé. Not only just known people, very simple people who have lots of stories to tell. Not everybody's story is extraordinary, very simple, but very inspiring. I take a lot of inspiration from them, me being on the other chair. I know how it is to be on that chair. So I take a lot of inspiration from them. I was not even a journalist then. I was just a newsreader. But that day, I was forced to be a journalist. I was told to give an interview to CNN. And I said, no, I cannot give. I don't speak so fluently in English. So in my language, I can do a lot of things. But then my CEO said, you have to go stand and give an interview to the CNN and say the status of this country. So I told him, why don't you do it? He said, no, you are the reporter, so you have to do it. So I did this. To be frank, my feet was shaking and I did not have any facts of the tsunami disaster, but I tried. tsunami karisaki den argumenge divehi rajyege national history ga den hama arun danwani me wargo den me hitama veri karisai hama evs doubt evs no arun ge hayat ga ai de hitama veri duhe da negen arun mamma neti diun e me bodoen hitam den e fa hama tsunami arun den negen bainal aqwami ane muli duniye karisai argumenge rajyege mihum madwile waram madu ehnam wes me destruction warabbodu damage warabbodu em e bainal aqwami media shadi alwamena fund den tibi mihuna ekam bayan koddinum waram muhim em algondu sama amilla fardega haysetunna station wes dekuni igota e wahakata kihinatto mihuna geneste emmena wesinge tanen halaku ejjek ekam rajya kudawima rajya libe attention waram madu em algomen tvm medoriko wes beli ane bainal aqwami media wes adi fund den tibihuna wes bunede mihum dettol warak kude ekam damage warabode but then when I go home, when I get my free time, I be a volunteer silently. It started actually when I was studying in Bangalore. I worked for the social center with a little bit of disabled children. For when I have holidays, I go in camp with them. So like that I worked in Nepal, in Kathmandu. And these places I took my inspiration and brought it home. And even now I do that a little bit. And lately I have been a volunteer to Blind Society of Maldives, but I have not done much for them. I'm trying my best to assist them in their work as well. And hopefully I will. I always believed this. When I came to television, I believe I stand as one, I talk as one in a chair, but thousands are listening to me. So I can bring a little bit of change. Maybe to someone's life, maybe to a family, maybe to this country. So by talking and by sharing knowledge, we can make a lot of difference. Thank you very much. Very good evening.